Hello, my name's Joel Filiponi, and this is my presentation on flexibility training. I simply chose this topic because I lack knowledge in it, obviously. I'm not a very flexible person myself, so I don't really stretch and all that sort of thing. So I wanted to deepen my knowledge about this area. It would be very helpful just with warm-ups, and especially with like as you get older, you get less flexible. So with the older demographic, I think it'd be very useful knowledge to know. Also looking through all this information, it's actually very underutilized by athletes. And I think a presentation like this will provide the knowledge to them to know that it's actually very important to stretch before and after training and all the benefits that can come with it. So what is flexibility training? So flexibility training involves activities that aim to stretch your muscles until they're loosened up and your body becomes nice and limber, sorry. The activities and exercises used in flexibility training are done at a very low intensity with the aim to improve an individual's total range of motion around a joint or group of joints. When done correctly, flexibility training is often incorporated before and or after a training session to develop that flexibility. Before a session, flexibility training is used to get the muscles nice and warm, springy, and get them ready to fire during exercise. Flexibility training would be used after a session to warm down the muscle by promoting the blood flow through the muscles as the session comes to an end, and we're going to promote the recovery in muscles, and we don't want muscles, being tense the next day. Once we get the blood pumping through them, we can exercise and recover quicker. There are 4 types of flexibility training to increase and maintain flexibility. These include static stretching, which, for example, like touching your toes, sitting on the ground, reaching out to just nice static position. We got ballistic or dynamic stretching. So, for example, we got leg swing, so handing them to the wall and swinging our legs up and down. So it's still stretching, a bit of mobility, getting a bit of range of motion. We've got a contract, relaxed stretching, also known as PNF, preceptive neuromuscular facilitation, excuse my pronunciation. But that involves, for example, so a groin stretch, holding it out, and your elbows will be holding your knees down, and you'll be pushing against your knees to be contracting and then relaxing. That's also very good to increase flexibility. And you also have passive stretching, as you can see in this photo here, like using a prop or accessory to put external pressure on the body. So there, from this photo here, you have someone pushing someone's leg up and exceeding their range of motion they could do voluntarily. So why would athletes decide to do flexibility training? Well, strengthening your body can become more supple, and flexibility offers many more physical benefits, and it allows us to do deeper and easier movements while building the strength and stability through movements. Obviously, with your muscles and joints, it leads to greater range of motion, improved balance, and a greater range of motion. Some sports, it's very vital to have elite flexibility, such as gymnastics or diving. You got all those, you want to be very flexible to do cartwheels and all that sort of thing. A well-established rule is that insufficient range of motion or stiffness will increase muscle strain risks. More specifically, athletes in different sports have varying flexibility profiles and thus varying flexibility needs in order to avoid injuries. Found a research paper by Gleeman and Hughes in 1997. They studied soccer players and discovered that flexibility may be important in preventing injuries. They found that the players that stretched regularly suffered fewer injuries, and the tighter players that didn't stretch as much had more groin strain injuries. So that's very interesting. So greater stability and flexibility and mobility ensures that athletes maintain proper exercise techniques and reach their full range of motion for target muscles to fire and strength to improve. With stronger muscles, athletes can then perform more complex movements and build even more strength and explosiveness. Some benefits and limitations of flexibility training. Flexibility training increases joint mobility, improves posture and balance, and decreases I think the screen's in the way, decreases lower back pain. Increased flexibility can also improve aerobic fitness training, muscular strength, endurance, and sport-specific training. Another advantage of completing flexibility is that it can reduce the chance of injury, which we mentioned before. Release post-exercise aches and pains, helps reduce or manage stress, reduces muscular tension, and enhances muscular relaxation, improves mechanical efficiency and overall functional performance, and promotes circulation. In addition to this, it decreases muscle stiffness and increases the range of motion of the joints. Prepares a muscle for the stress of exercise, and with great preparation, it can improve technique and skill development. So obviously there are a lot of advantages to flexibility training with a couple of disadvantages. So pretty much both disadvantage of flexibility training is athletes can say it is boring and not necessary, as well I mentioned earlier in the PowerPoint that it's very underutilized. People just say it's boring, bit of time wasting. So That's a bit of a disadvantage. And another one is that it takes a while for the benefits to be seen, which is again, which is why it's underutilized. But with a consistent program, and you put that time out and effort in, you will get the results and you get the advantages and benefits that will come with this training. So to prescribe flexibility training, athletes should aim to incorporate these flexibility sessions 5 to 7 times a week. Even on days you can do it because of its low intensity. Unlike other types of exercises, like as I said, low intensity. For each exercise selected, athletes should perform 2 to 3 reps of that selected exercise using slow, easy, and smooth movements. Patients should only perform each exercise as far as they can without causing any pain. So yeah, if it's hurting, you're doing too much. At about a scale of 1 to 10, you should aim around 6 to 8 for that tension. Having a good mix of static, ballistic, BNF, and passive stretching incorporated in the training regimen is crucial, as each type of stretching can provide different gains of flexibility. Ballistic is good for warm-ups and getting the maximum range of motion for the exercise. PNF and passive is best to get the testing the body against an external force to get a glimpse of an individual's range of motion while it isn't voluntary. And the static stretching is good for cool downs. It is the most relaxing, but it's also just good for blood circulation. The flexibility sessions can range anywhere from 10 to 60 minutes, depending on the context of the athlete. Obviously, a gymnast would be spending more time doing flexibility compared to like a rugby player. But each stretch should be able for about 15 to 16 seconds, again, based on the situation of the athlete. Here are some common exercises. So upper body, child pose, thread needle, shoulder stretch, neck pull, tricep stretch, downward dog, thoracic upper body rotation, chest opener. Lower body, you got the seated and standing hammy and quad stretch, figure 4 stretch, 90-90 stretch, frog stretch, butterfly stretch, lunging hip flexor stretch, and knee chest stretch. So how does flexibility actually improve performance? So regular stretching has been shown to improve force, jump height, and speed. Hip mobility has a direct impact on someone's speed. So sure will be strata if you lack that hip mobility, and you won't be able to utilize your body's full range of motion. So with an increase in your hip flexibility, obviously that will lead to an increase in speed as you improve your hip drive. While static stretching programs have been shown to improve joint range of motion and tolerance to stretching, dynamic stretching has actually been shown to be the most beneficial for improving performance, as it can enhance your power, balance, neuromuscular control, and sport-specific performance. Flexibility also has been shown a big impact on vertical jump. If you're not flexible or mobile enough, you won't be able to get the proper position to get the full range of motion when you do jump. So obviously this will limit their potential. In a study by Huff, Ross, and Howitson in 2009, they found that dynamic stretching had a positive impact and influence on vertical jump ability, as it improved the athlete's ability to be flexible. So just to recap, flexibility training involves activities that aim to stretch your muscles until they've loosened up and your body becomes nice and limber. Doing the flexibility regularly will provide you with more freedom of movement. Greater stability and flexibility and mobility ensures that athletes maintain proper exercise techniques and reach their full range of motion for target muscles to fire and strength. With stronger muscles, obviously, athletes can perform more complex movements and build even more strength. Benefits I listed before: joint mobility, good posture, improved balance, decrease back pain, decrease risk of injury, and improvement in fitness components such as aerobic fitness, muscular strength, and endurance. Flexibility training should be completed 5 to 7 times a week, depending on the context of the athlete. 2 to 3 reps using slow and controlled movements, and obviously perform each exercise without causing any pain or discomfort. And flexibility training has been shown to be very beneficial to athletes, as it can promote such fitness components such as speed, strength, and vertical jump, which will then only lead to improvements in performance. And those are my references. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed.